Welcome, team, to episode 23 of the Keep Going podcast. This is Luke Weed in Knoxville, Tennessee, sitting here with Pat O'Malley. What's up, buddy?
Man, I might not be in Chicago anymore, but you put the 23 episode on. I got all his airness vibes right now. I'm ready to go.
God.
What's up with you, Luke?
Back to back to back or something? I mean, come
got
on.
Got to, bro. Love it. But shout out MJ to start the episode. But how's the week been, Luke?
It's been decent so far. I guess we're into Monday, as everybody will figure that out. We're going to post this on Tuesday or Wednesday of the coming week. So we've hit about a week and a couple of days since the last one. It's been up and down, but it's been decent.
No, man, we'll keep going, definitely. And I'm just happy if we're going to shoot a Monday, it's not during Monday Night Football. I don't want that to affect it. So good stuff overall, man. Well, hey, I definitely want to shout out everybody last week. What a fantastic network that came together. How'd you feel about last week's episode?
No, 100%. It was a good one. It was good to get a different perspective on NIL. And it was great to hear specifically Steve's story and the impact that, one, that it's having at Berkeley, Cal Berkeley, and two, that it's having on his personal life.
Couldn't agree more. So shout out Honorarium. They did a great job with us. We appreciate their time. And shout out our guy, Steve Chavez, just dropping some knowledge last week. So if you haven't listened to that, you haven't jumped down with Team Honorarium, they're doing great things over there. And like I said, Steve's doing great things with Berkeley and all across the country. But like I said, their network was great. But Luke, just a reminder, man, we're not specialists by any means.
Nah, brother, we're not psychologists. We're not psychiatrists. Just a couple of ex-athletes trying to make an impact in the mental health field and the stigma, all those good things, all those blessings, you know?
Yeah, man. And you want to shout yourself out, man? You've been killing it with the merch, bro. Tell the people about the merch.
Hey, I just want to say, anybody who has a merchandise business, if that's all y'all do, you guys are crazy. I do not know how they do it, bro.
Well, Luke is making it look easy, man. And Luke, I appreciate you spearheading that, man. You've been fantastic.
100%. I think I paid somebody shipping 3 times on one package, so I don't know how that happened. But
oh my goodness. Well, hey, we're learning, and by we I mean Lucas. So
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Give my boy Luke some credit. He's doing a fantastic job. And shout out on Instagram at the KG Podcast. Shout out the website that's rolling now. We got Twitter rolling. Give your boys a follow, subscribe, like all that good stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Luke, I know we're on time. It's kind of a time crunch with me being on the clock right now. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody that. I'm going to edit that out. But
low key.
What'd you do this week for your mental health?
No, I just stay catching up with the buddies, man. It's been working for me, and that's what I got to do. So that's what I've been doing.
Okay. Anybody special this week you reach out to?
I hit Grant Nash up last week, chatted a little bit with Nick this week. Nick moved back in town, so it's a little bit easier with him, but he's been down in Louisiana for the past 3 years. So he's grinding away. He's taking the long path to physical therapy school, and I know he's paying his own way in school, which is not an easy thing, but you can tell how much he's dedicated to it because of that. So super proud of him and everything he's been doing, and just a heck of a guy.
No, love that, man. Love that, man. And I think on my end this week, we had our first company outing in Chicago, and we went to a Cubs game. We all hung out, just great people, great vibes. And we say it all the time. You got to go places where you feel like home, right? Where like they fill your cup, you're filling theirs. That was all Saturday was. And shout
100%.
out to that whole crew, but get with your people, get with your support group, go where you feel welcome and loved. That's a big deal.
Dude, so jealous, man. You got to see the Petersons, first time sponsors of the podcast, dude.
Oh, and
Scuba
if
P.
we don't shout out Steve Peterson and his family, right, you know we have to, because Ray had 3 hits over the weekend. Jake Peterson has brought Union now from single-digit wins to a national contender, and Steve Peterson is out there, and all he had was good things to say about Luke Wheat, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, Scuba P can, he can sweet talk you. That's all I know about Scuba P.
Yeah. And if you haven't gotten a power pipe, if you're a baseball or softball player, power pipe hitting our first sponsor on the pod. Well, we can talk about Steve Peterson and the family all day. Gannon Ruckman is in the building. Gannon, what's up, brother?
Man, how we doing, guys? Thanks for bringing me on this pod, man. I'm looking forward to it. Roles are reversed, but I'm fired up, man. This is awesome.
100% with the Cubs
this
fitted
is awesome.
on.
We got the Cubs fitted. He fits in great with this pod quickly.
Yeah.
And Gannon, I got to thank you, man. I know you've been playing ball over the last couple of days. I know you've had bus rides and travel. Thank you so much for taking time out of your week to jump out with us.
Man, appreciate it. Yeah, we weren't able to get it done right away yesterday with a couple obviously miscues on the field. But yeah, off day today is a good little decel, and now to end the day with this, man, I'm pumped.
No
That's
doubt,
how you
no
gotta
doubt
do
it. I was about to say, Luke, and that's a perfect segue. Besides all the running around, living the college student athlete life, what'd you do this week for your mental health?
Man, I would say we spent over 5 days in the hotel with the boys. We're about 3 hours of South and Southern Missouri at Springfield, playing a conference tournament. Backs against the wall. We obviously dropped the first game of the tournament, which we didn't want to. We were the 1 seed coming in off the regular season championship, but first time in my experience, we were back-to-back tournament champs coming into this, so this was the first time going through the losers bracket. We played a 4-hour game into 1 a.m. We had to turn around and play at 1 p.m. the next day. So, all those little things, it really shows you, who the true character is and who the real players are that want to show up and play. So, but that was my thing for mental health, just being with the boys. This is my last time senior year and just really enjoying the last few moments.
And Luke, you'll realize another guest, actually Coach Gannon, bro. This is so funny that we're actually out here representing the 815 now, but you'll know what kind of dude this guy is. Not only is he great on the mic, but he's just a great character guy, and that's why you're here in comparison to a lot of our other guests that we love to have on. Luke, what do you got?
No, 100%. I think when you look at the circles that we keep ourselves around, that you'll see something important to us is positivity and hard work and energy. I think we know a lot of guys, and we put ourselves around people with a lot of energy, and Gannon's contrary to that fact. Dude, I can tell first minute on the mic, dude, bringing the energy, and I love that. But dude, you're building bonds right now. You're building relationships that you'll have for the rest of your life. What's better than that? 3-day conference tourney, 4-hour game into 1 a.m. I mean, you'll talk about that for the next 15 years,
That's for darn sure. It's for darn sure. And Gannon, I kind of introed you a little bit how I know you. Obviously, Luke hasn't met you till today, but tell the folks why you're here. Why were you a good fit to jump on the pod today?
Man, I think I fill a lot of the blanks, for a guest is just fill out a little questionnaire, let's say, for this pod is just to jump on, One, I have a podcast going on almost 3 years, 2.5 years.
Shout it out. Shout it out.
Man, 365 Unlimited. Go check us out on YouTube. 365 Unlimited _ for the other Twitter handles, social media, everything, man. It's been a blast. Something we had no idea how that was going to take off. So we've done that. We have over 100 episodes out on all streaming platforms. So it's awesome. That's been something that me and my buddy Bryce Carlson, my co-host, we have just been blessed with. So that's one of the reasons. Being a baseball player, being an athlete, that's another reason. Going through some stuff my first couple of years here, some off the field, on the field stuff, mental health stuff that has now, I think, really pushed me to where I am and getting where my future goals are and being into the baseball and coaching world as I graduate here.
No doubt, no doubt. And I want you to elaborate on that a little bit because I say it, man, when I coached you in high school and then you got with Dasher and all my people, I never knew you went through any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, unpack that a little bit. What did you go through? How'd you get through it?
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be a little bit of it's gonna be a little bit longer than this, so I had to get some water
Pat.
there. But
yeah, I'm with you.
Pat knows me probably more as a position player because all through high school I was more of a guy that was playing the field, swinging the bat, and pitching was kind of like an afterthought. And then as I started getting older and maturing with my body, I kind of realized I had a little bit of talent on the mound, had a lot of arm side run, if you know baseball, those type of things, a lot of curve. I got a lot of spin, and nothing straight that I throw. So that was something that really intrigued college coaches and how I got to Central Methodist, a really top NEI program that we've established here over my 4 years. But I came in, had a lot of success. I gave up 2-3 runs, I think, during fall ball here, which with a lot of older guys as my first freshman year here out of high school. I was looking to have a nice role, I think, out of the bullpen coming in the season with an exit meeting over Christmas break, and then just something happened. We were inside with some of our winter training and just throwing, and some of my mechanics and certain things just started to not feel comfortable. I didn't really understand it, and I thought it was just straight mechanical. And really at the time, just had no mental framework for how to bounce back. I think when I was facing these challenges, I would say on the mound. And I wouldn't try and say it was like anybody's fault, not necessarily mine. Probably that I could add to some of it. But long story short, it kind of ended up getting into more of my throwing, and it ended up, causing what you call the yips. That's the most present term now for pitching. So it ended up turning right before we were supposed to leave for San Antonio, Texas, my freshman year. This was 2020, right before COVID stuff happened. Like 3 or 4 days before, I got redshirted. So I was supposed to be a big guy out of the pen, and now out of all this, boom, hey, you're not ready. You're a freshman. We need you to keep working. It was all good stuff. I wasn't But I just took it so hard because I went from so good early on in my freshman year having success, and now to this, it was just a boom, complete 360. I've
Yeah,
never
fall
not
ball looking
had.
so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was 100% ready to keep playing. I've never not played in a spring my whole life for baseball or any sport, so to be redshirted and all that, it really threw a toll on me. And ever since then, holding a baseball in my hands never felt the same. Like it's
Stop
really,
there. Got to stop you there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because if I let you roll, I know how we do things. You're just going to keep rolling. So I got to
Yeah.
stop you here.
Yeah, cut me off, man. Cut
Yeah,
me
'cause
off. That's
no,
how
there's
we
some
go.
I
good
have
stuff
to.
there. There's some good
Because
stuff there.
there's so much good there. Like I have to like go into it. One, like I said, you come from a small town, man. You were a stand-up position player. You could have hit at some schools in
Yeah,
college for
yeah.
sure. You had the grades, you had the friends, you had the circle. You go to a
100%.
top nationally ranked school where I've sent guys before, top 25. You think you're going to come in as a freshman and compete like a lot of our athletes do, and that gets flipped upside down. Your whole world is it's baseball.
Yeah.
How did you cope with it? Who did you lean on? How did you get to where you're at now? Because it's fun to watch you now.
Yeah. You know, it's a blessing and a curse. And I'm going to keep saying this over a lot of the things that I'm going to hit on here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But the first thing was COVID. You know, it really screwed me up because then as we went home that season with the red shirt was when COVID happened. So like at that point, I knew that the transferring, I didn't want to go back because I knew how much all this eligibility stuff, I knew that I was still going to stay here and create this. And a lot of the older guys that were already very old my freshman year were all coming back, and we're taking it upon ourselves. We finished 10th in the season in the final rankings during COVID when it all happened, and then boom, we took it upon ourselves as a team unit. But it was really those group of guys that I came in with my freshman year that translated to my sophomore year, the COVID year, that really influenced me to where I am today because I was the only guy that was underage. I was the only teenager on the team. Everybody else was 22, 23, 24, 25 with the COVID year whenever he came back. Those are really who builded me and molded me into this. But for a lot of time, though, I was wondering how I was going to get through some of this. I think the biggest thing that pulled me out of it was I had a career-ending injury. Like this is another whole dynamic now of this, that I got my mental, I think, capacity back enough to get back on the bump. And I went to summer ball in 2021 after we went to the World Series, lost a national championship. I knew all those guys were graduating and there's going to be innings to be had for my last 3 years here. And then I got out there and started throwing an abundance of innings, 0 to 100, you know, in the grand scheme of things, just flipping my knuckle curve nonstop. It ended up being bone damage, and my bone ended up growing. I had surgery. It's still not good. I need to go back home and get it checked out. I mean, so that's really, soon as I was getting everything back, it felt like to get back onto my feet and go back and throw a baseball and contribute, boom, it got taken out again from underneath me. And man, those 2 times, it was tough, but like, I don't think I would have finished playing baseball in my 4 years if I was healthy enough and kept throwing because of how much the mental strain it was. But now the injury allowed me to stick around and be on the field and coach and lead these guys because I'm the only guy from the World Series team 2 years ago now. So I'm the oldest person here. I'm an extension of the coaching staff. So that's something that I've taken upon me, and it's been awesome because that's what I flourished in. And now I'm going to be a grad assistant. I get to go down to West Palm Beach at Kaiser University starting in the fall and be a grad assistant and learn under a 10-year MLB vet who caught in the big leagues. So like,
No
I'm
doubt.
blessed, man. I'm blessed. I
Stay there for
Yeah,
me.
stay there, Luke. Yeah.
Yeah, stay there. So you make that transition
Yeah.
from player to coach. How quickly did you flip your perspective there? Or was it a process? Was it a month? Was it 2 months?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was really just within these last, I'd say, probably 7 to 8 months once I knew what my role was. Because last year I was still battling the injury and I was trying to figure it out. I was throwing. I got a steroid shot. I was doing all that. I was trying everything a year ago to get healthy and throw still because I knew I had more time. And then as that started going, I had surgery over the summer. It was a long recovery, very long. Supposed to start throwing in the fall. That didn't work out. But I knew that I had more of a purpose here with all these younger kids here and these younger guys coming in that maybe weren't coming from some winning programs before, but we have this winning standard here at CMU that I got to entrust and get into these guys because it can't all come from coaches. And I know that because that's been some of our lacks and some of the years that we haven't been good is having that leadership. So, and it was something that coach suggested. You know, he said, you don't have to really be on the field specifically for us to go to the World Series, but you and your presence in the dugout and with the team every day will probably get us to the World Series. So like just all those little things, and just it's really tough in the moment when this stuff is taken away from you. But now it's really showed me that there's a bigger picture to all this stuff. And it really showed you that it's not just a baseball lens, I think is the best way to put it. That's how I always looked through it in my life until all this adversity hit. So now I can do the baseball and life lens at the same time. Again, I'm blessed. I'm gonna keep saying it for this position I'm blessed. So it's
100%. I think your
Oh, I
coach
love
having
it.
faith in you really helped out there as
yeah.
well. You know, somebody
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Hey, we need you to take care of this because we believe you can take care of this," and
Mm-hmm.
putting that power in you, right, really brought that out of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think for our listeners, that's just so powerful. Like, to every sense of the word, because that serendipity, man, like to quote Inky Johnson, like, I guarantee if I ask you right now, you wouldn't change anything.
No.
You wouldn't, because we touched on that, but it's like, wow, because you might have thought your world was ending twice during COVID, during the injury, maybe even times during the comeback. And look at that now, man. You get put in a situation like CMU to make an impact. You get to jump on platforms like your own, jump on platforms like ours, and really share your story to tell people that in your darkest days, there's going to be light here. There's going to be a flip. There's going to be a God moment. There's going to be a universe moment. God, I'm juiced. That's great. I love it, man. I love
Just
it.
one thing. It's just there's no script to it. And I think that's the biggest thing when I talk to some of these younger guys that I got on my team when they're not maybe playing or they're not going through some mechanic stuff on the mound or they're not seeing their velo because I've worked with a lot of the pitchers. That's what I am now. So I'm in a bullpen. I'm working with these guys through their pens every week and just working on mechanics, film stuff, all that. It's just I always didn't always have somebody there when I had those issues and all those little stuff. So I know now that if I can be that light and not even a big way, just a little way in certain things, going to baseball side, going to the pitching side, your life side, like just all those little things. I didn't have that at times, and those were my darkest times. And I know that if I can help somebody with that, be a little less dark for a shorter amount of period of time, man, it's awesome. So yeah, what Pat said, I wouldn't change a damn thing. It was funny because I just talked to my parents about this probably just last night. I got back from the conference tournament. I was a little hot about some things that happened and just all about, but at the
Hey,
end of
that's
the
the
day, though,
coach's life right there, baby.
yeah,
There it is.
exactly.
I've been
Life right
there. I've
there.
been there.
Yeah, it's just, but at the end of the day, I don't change it because, like I said, I don't think I would have finished playing baseball for 4 years, and I don't know what I would have done then because this has helped me. And you said figuring it out through my rehab and all that, man. I'd really just say it's just been since the new year, Pat and Luke. I mean, if we're being completely honest, because
Yeah.
I didn't know what I want to do with my future. I'm still not 100% sure about coaching. I know I'm a sports management major and I want the industry, and that's what I'm going to get eventually out of all this. But just even this year being that leadership, if I was playing, I wouldn't be doing this leadership stuff. I wouldn't be working with these guys. I wouldn't be growing more off the field, which is, going to get me where I need to be at the end of the line.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. No doubt. And we talked about the Mike Stud parable a couple weeks ago, bro. This is like literally boom hitting home with me right now. Like,
Hey, you never know, baby. That's the
You
best
never
podcast
know,
out there,
baby. You
baby.
never know. And he talked about that parable where he goes out and whatever happens with the horses, and then the horses come back and everyone rejoices. Then he falls off the horse, breaks his arm, and then they come grab him for war and he can't go and get to stay with his family. It's like, whoa, you just don't know. And I think in Adam O'Malley, my brother, we shout him out pretty much every episode, talked about his episode early on that I believe I'm right where I should be, and that's why I'm successful. And that's it. Luke, I'm going to be conscious of Gannon's time, but I do have to ask the big question today.
Hey, I'm good, man. You fire away. There ain't no hold back.
I'm
I got
about
no
to say,
limits.
if you answered already, I apologize. But give me your keep going moment.
Whew, man. One? Yeah, let me think about this. That's a good question.
Right.
Man, that's a very good question. I would say it was probably about a month in to this last fall. I had my throwing program. I knew that I still had a chance to come back. The finger was starting to feel better, and I had some rehab going on. And then I started to throw, and it just, it was over a year really of consistent throwing that I didn't have. And just that muscle memory of throwing the ball, and it was so foreign this last fall. And I just had to sit down one night and just sit down. And I was like, am I going to try and fight this and keep doing this all through the year? Or am I going to better this team and do some of these things and take it on the chin in the moment, which sucks. 100% it sucks. I want to throw and contribute, but I know that wasn't the best of what I can contribute at this team. with how young and immature in a good way some of these guys were, if that makes sense, because there were some of these guys that we're still having here are very fresh in their new playing experiences and playing on these winning cultures. So I think that was my biggest thing, because I know how to win and I've seen it with these younger guys. And I think that was probably my biggest keep going moment, was that was the biggest big picture switch in my head. Was I wasn't the throwing anymore that I knew that I was trying to do. It was what I had to do with the team.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it went from how can I help the team win ball games to how can I flip the script now, serve, do what you can, not only help the team win ball games, but help them become better people, man. I think there's a
kind of
message
went from an individualistic viewpoint to a holistic,
Yeah.
and not that the individualistic viewpoint is terrible in baseball, right? Because you're
Mhm.
kind of out on an island sometimes, especially as a pitcher and as a catcher, right? But taking that viewpoint and shifting it a little bit made all the difference in the world for your team.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Go ahead. Yeah, I would just say the one other thing too that I talk with a lot of these guys, it's just how are you coping with this adversity? Because if you're just getting so strung out and pissed off, sorry, if
You're good, you're good.
You're good, bro.
Go ahead.
If you say that into certain things during your day at a 2-hour practice, what are you doing with the other 22 hours? Like if you're letting those hour or two dictate and ruin your day because you didn't have a good day swinging the bat, you didn't have a good day throwing the ball, like these are all foundations in my mind that are going to build you for your next steps in life. And if you can handle these adversities now through these sports in your life, your social life, your schoolwork, all those things, they're all intertwined and they're all kind of working towards the bigger purpose in my eyes. And I think that's what I try and instill in these guys that aren't playing or are playing and are struggling or are playing and are playing well. You got to all kind of stay here, because you got to, my favorite quote is be where your feet are. And that's what I'm going to live by and die by. I say it so much. You have something to do in your 24 hours, and that's what you got to do in that day, because that goes to the next day. It's a connecting chain and so on and so forth.
Gannon, man, that's for our listeners. Run this back, baby. Run this back, because
Come on now.
there are so many nuggets here. There is so much beyond your years here. I'm blown away. Look what you got.
Thank you.
No, 100%. I think anytime we can bring on a guy that's currently playing and currently with athletes, because athletics changes, right? The way that we coach, the way that we learned 20, 30, 40 years ago is different than how we learn today. And anytime we can get a current athlete's or a current coach's perspective on stuff, I think just sheds a little more light and a little more insight on the process and how everybody can better themselves. I think you're doing the great thing, man.
Thank you.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, Gannon, I'm looking at the shot clock, bro. And the time crunch that we're on.
Yeah.
Tell these people, because they're going to love this, man. It's going to impact hundreds of people today. Tell these listeners where they can find you and about what you're doing, man.
Yeah, so on social media, it's just at Gannon Ruckman. I think it's an underscore for Twitter. But you type in Gannon Ruckman, you should find it. There's not a lot of other guys with the name Gannon Ruckman.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to confirm
Yes,
that. That.
So and then 365 Unlimited and 365 Unlimited underscore for some of the socials for our podcast. Man, just check me out. Keep going what I'm doing. I'm always posting stuff out there. I know it's the same way as to keep going social media content. It's awesome to see stuff, man. It's just spreading the awareness. If somebody sees something, sees a post, that's all it takes at certain points. And just go out of your way a little bit to make somebody smile, to have a good day, to say hi, open the door, man. Just those little things. That makes me smile, makes me feel good. I don't know about other people, but you hold the door, you can see it on somebody's face, man. You got to put stuff in perspective. And I say this, and it's not like I got it figured out. That's what I say on the podcast a lot too. It's also it's a reinforcement for myself and everybody else listening to kind of keep me going at the same time, play on words. But that's kind of how it is, because if you lose it yourself and not speak it into existence and manifest it, then it's not going to work. That's really how it works.
I think me and Pat talk about that all the time. We got to be better ourselves before we even put anything out into the atmosphere. So 100%.
We can't change the world unless we change ourselves.
Yep. 100%.
That's it, boys. Boys, I know our listeners are going to be impacted by this, but I know personally I've been impacted by this. And Gannon, being around, bro, being in the area and seeing your journey, man, you should be damn proud of that, man. Keep doing you. Keep going. All right, bro?
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Gannon.
Means a lot. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. This was a blast. Absolute blast.
Yes, sir. Good to meet you, bro.
Yes, sir, baby. Keep going, bro. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
Peace.